through the Upstate scores right quick, and I'll let you hop in on some statewide stuff. But the big one that I've got, John, one of our games of the week, always a big game here in the Upstate, and that is Dorman knocking off Byrnes 37-18. Byrnes started off hot. They took the first play to the house, their first play in about four weeks, and 77 yards for a touchdown. After that, it was a lot of Dorman after that, but Byrnes played tough for not being around there for a while. We've got Wren, another game of the week, knocking off Palmetto 64-13. PL Hannah knocks off previously unbeaten Westside 26-7. Abbeville shuts out Crescent 48-0. Walhalla 27, Travelers Rest 14. Christchurch 28, Landrum 10. Woodmont 20, Easley 14. Eastside 69, Blue Ridge 21. Spartanburg 38, Riverside 27. Powdersville 35, GL-Man 6. Ridgeview 17, Malden 7. Southside Christian 56, Blair Shoals 14. Union County 28, Clinton 21. Daniel 67, Berea 0. Gilbert 49, Lawrence 21. Chesney 63, 96, 35. And then in double overtime, Pendleton knocks off Pickens 36-29. Also, I'm going to hit our quick game of the week scores. I've already given you two of them, but Dutch Fork, big win over South Pointe 35-7. And then in overtime, just now finished up, Gray Collegiate knocks off Oceanside Collegiate 40-34, John, down there at Johnson Haygood Stadium. Give us some statewide scores here, and I'll keep checking for some more scores as you're going through that.
So we'll start down in the Low Country. West Ashley over Cane Day 21-14. Not a final yet in the new cage. Brooklyn KC 51, Airport 0. Let's see, we've got Strom Thurmond, a big win tonight. They beat Swansea 44-0 tonight. South Aiken over Lexington 24-17. Silver Bluff 27, Pelion 6. Batesburg Leesville gets back on the right side of things. They beat Columbia tonight 35-6. Blackville Hilda, like we expected, over Wilson and Oka tonight 42-22. Whale Branch over Battery Creek 33-21. Fort Dorchester wins easily 41-7 over Wando. Berkeley drops a game to Somerville tonight 42-20 in that one. Hanahan, the Hawks over Philip Simmons 21-7. McCormick over Fox Creek 52-22. Lake City a win on the road against Marlboro County 34-20.
I believe that's for the region championship as well, I think, tonight.
Okay, that's a big win. You usually like Marlboro County in those kind of games. Not a final yet, but it is over. Louisville over Chesterfield 46-7. King Street up on Hemingway 20-6. That is not over yet. Georgetown defeats Carvers Bay 13-6. How about this score? I think this is impressive. We talked about Catawba Ridge a good bit this year. They beat Fort Mill tonight 40-21. Big win for the Copperheads. They're having a great first year.
Yeah, they've got a good bit of wins already, I feel like. They really do.
The last team in that area that we saw had a pretty good first season was South Pointe. And that's one hell of a program. So that's really good stuff for Catawba Ridge. They've done some good things this year. They've really impressed and started out with that game against South Pointe where they were very competitive. And they've been pretty strong and competitive all year.
Real quick, Chris asked about the Berkeley Somerville score. Yeah, Somerville beat Berkeley 42-20 tonight, Chris. That is what happened there. We got Chad Furman checking in as well. What's up, Chad? Good to hear you. But, John, continue with some more scores as we go here.
All right, so we'll go. This was a big, big game. Hartsville knocks off Wilson in like 41-34. Very exciting game there in Florence. The Red Foxes take that one. Let's see. There's a lot of cancellations as I go through here.
Mm-hmm.
Colleton County defeated Wade Hampton 20-13. More cancellations. Bamberg, how about this game? You're going to want to write this one down in pen.
Yeah.
Bamberg Earhart blanks Barnwell 26-0 tonight.
That's probably
when is the
last
last time? Let's get Tim Beret and tell us the last time Barnwell got shut out.
Yeah, that's quite. I'd seen a rumor earlier this week, I don't know how much validity there was to this, that Barnwell may rest some starters due to, region play already being over for them. I don't know if that happened. I have no idea. If somebody, can confirm, that'd be great. But, if that didn't happen, I don't know how you get beat that bad by Bamberg. That is a shocker to me either way, really. Right. Exactly. So who knows what happened there, John?
Going on, this is not a final, but Ainer up on Socastee 36-28. So that game's still up in the air.
John, also that may be an incorrect score. I've got Ainer defeating Green Sea Floyd 67-48 tonight. So I'm not sure what score.
What? Yeah, we're gonna go to a different source. Let's not dabble with that anymore.
Yeah.
Now here it is. I hope this is a real score. In the fourth quarter, in Northeast Columbia, Richland Northeast 20, Lugoff Elgin 20. Tied ball game.
Good ball game there.
We've got Chapin all over Irma 55-38. That Irma program has fallen off a little bit. South Aiken over Lexington 24-17. Silver Bluff over Pillion 27-6. Here's a good game. This is one of the games that we talked about a little bit this week. Newberry over Saluda 13-8. Very good ball game. Good defensive game there.
Yep, and I think that's the game that Newberry had to win to have any chance at making the playoffs. I think they're behind, obviously, Gray Collegiate. I believe they're also behind Batesburg-Leesville in that region. And I think they have a chance to get an at-large if they hold on to that 3 spot there. But we'll see how things shake out here in a couple weeks for sure.
Well, that could be a really big win for them. And we've got a couple games. This game took place on Wednesday. Chester, the Cyclones over Lower Richland 57-50. Don't be surprised if you don't see that score during basketball this season as well. And on Thursday, Blythewood knocked off Rock Hill 30-15. And that wraps up the games around the Midlands tonight. I was hoping to go to the Camden Bulldog game tonight, but that game got canceled almost at the 0 hour.
Yeah, I saw Lakewood came up with a positive test this afternoon. They had to cancel that one. A couple more scores I've got here, John, is Goose Creek 28, Ashley Ridge 21, Myrtle Beach 38, South Florence 14, Marion defeating Manning 35-14, and then Carolina Academy knocking off PD 16-14 tonight for the region championship. A lot of good football around the state, John. You guys just tuning in. I see we've got Gregory in here, Dan, Mark Trout, Howard Corley, Chris, Chad, Haley, Rashodi. A lot of people in here. Appreciate you guys checking us out. Moving the Chains SC on Facebook, Moving Chains on Instagram and Twitter. Also on YouTube and all your podcast outlets as well, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you check it out. We're on there. We're doing our preview show last night. We had that going live. Had a lot of these picks on these games tonight. We went live on ESPN Upstate today with Rob Brown giving some previews as well. So appreciate you guys' support through all of that. Would love for you to like, comment, share, tell your friends about us, and hopefully help us grow this thing a little bigger as we continue to go here, John. I know that we didn't make it to a game tonight, so not really any game breakdowns to go into. But I would Chad Furman asked who won the Dutch Fork South Pointe game. Dutch Fork won that one 35-7. Chad, a fairly easy win for those guys. But I am going to kind of run through some scores right quick that I've got some more comments on, as far as some more notes I took. One of these, John, you're going to love some of this stuff here. A few tidbits I have. Abbeville defeating Crescent 48-0. So Abbeville has played 5 games against South Carolina teams this year, John. They played 1 team from North Carolina. In the 5 games against SC teams, the score has been 261-0 in those 5 games. So quite a run Abbeville and the Panthers are on over there in A-Town. That's a huge win there. With Dorman defeating Byrnes 37-18, that means in round 1 of the playoffs, I believe 37-18. Yeah, Bowling Springs will head to Dorman.
Russ for the Rebels.
Yep, Bowling Springs will head to Dorman, and then Byrnes will head to Gaffney in round 1. So a couple of heavyweight matchups there in game 1 and 5A for sure here in a few weeks. What other notes do I have here?
Who did you say Gaffney gets in the first round?
Gaffney gets Byrnes at the reservation in a couple weeks. So that'll be
And who does Dorman play in the first round?
Dorman will play Bowling Springs at home.
That's not a gimme either.
Not at all. want to make a quick note on that Dutch Fork South Point game. A couple weird points here. One, Coach Devontae Hollowmill is not on the sideline tonight because he was ejected during the JV game last night. So not sure how those rules work out, but he wasn't able to be there tonight for the South Point game. I don't know if it would have helped, but he was not on the sideline. And John, we talked about yesterday in our preview show how it seemed like South Point started to figure out their offense. They put the Moore kid at quarterback, let Omega Blake play more of a running back receiver position. They did that for the full game last week, and they won and worked out well for Navanya Moore at quarterback. Comes back tonight, John, and Omega Blake plays the whole game at quarterback, at least the whole first half.
I think.
So I don't know what the plan is.
I wanted to touch on this when we talked about the review, and I think we got tied up in some other stuff, and I didn't get around to it. But especially at the high school level, I follow the line of thought. You put your best player at quarterback. Let him touch the ball every single play. I agree with that. I agree with that call by South Point. Maybe it's not the right call.
Obviously, it worked out for him, John. It was a great call.
Well, you know what? But you know what? They lost 35-7, and that's you look at it on paper and go, gosh, they lost by 28. Okay, well, look at everybody else Dutch Fork has played this year. Who else has done that?
Well, I do have one more stat. I do have one more stat to kind of contradict what you're saying here. South Point had one first down in the first half. So, I mean, you can put whoever you want at quarterback, but I think Omega Blake was not the answer tonight.
So, what was the score at halftime? Do we know that?
I think it was 21-0, something like that. It was not a close ball game at all at that point. I know you mentioned a bunch of cancellations. We've got a bunch of them here. I know we've got Blacksburg and Southside. They were postponed due to a power outage, not due to COVID. Chapman Clover was COVID. Greenwood Hillcrest was COVID. Greer Bowling Springs COVID. Wade Hampton Greenville COVID. Sumter South Aiken, I believe, was COVID. Conway Ashland Ridge also COVID. Camden Lake, we mentioned that one. May River Orangeburg Wilkinson, another power outage forced them to cancel. The River Bluff North Augusta, this was not a COVID cancellation. I think this is since with it being a non-region game, the coaches didn't want to take a chance this late in the season, so they canceled their game. And one more cancellation we've got here. I don't know who they were going to play, John, but Lancaster shut down their whole season, so they're just done. They don't even care anymore. Their school was going virtual, and they shut it down. So that's it for the Bruins tonight. I got a score from Chad Furman. Fort Dorchester blows out Wando 41-7. Yep, that is correct. I believe that's the score that we had. John, I want to touch on this right quick before we get back into some scores with the people in here viewing. And if you have any comments on this stuff, let us know as well, guys. South Carolina announced the Mr. Football nominees Wednesday night here in the state. I'm going to run through those and get some quick thoughts from you on that, John. One of the guys we just talked about him, a D lineman from Gaffney, Tyrone Ingram Dawkins, just committed to Georgia today. The running back from May River, Ahmad Green. Gregory Johnson III from Northwestern. Running back Willis Lane from Camden, and then tight end, a little bit of running back as well. Robbie Oots, the Alabama commit from Rock Hill, are the 5 finalists. John, a lot of great players here. I feel like this is maybe a little bit smaller list we've seen in the past, but a lot of talent there for sure on that list.
For sure. Congrats to all those guys. There's probably another 5 or 10 guys. Guys like Omega Blake that probably could have been on that list too. And hats off to these kids and all these kids that's Ingham are listening, all the high school players that have toughed it out. I understand this season, and I can't relate, but hats off to everybody that stuck with it and did, went through all the protocols, did everything they needed to do, stay on the field, stay safe, keep their teammates safe, and to be respectful of each other, and that'll pay off. That'll pay off later in life. Those kids will look back on this season and go, man, that probably taught me a lot about, how to handle other situations in life. So hats off to all those kids, and especially these guys that are finalists for football. That's a big, big honor for those guys, especially this year.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite in that by chance? Who you think might win it?
I haven't seen any of these guys play. I wanted to see Lane from Camden play tonight. Didn't get a chance to see that tonight, so I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Ingram Dawkins play. He's a beast on the D line. You wonder sometimes if those linemen kind of get lost a little bit because they're not going to have the huge, passing numbers or running numbers like some of these offensive guys do. So you got to wonder how that's going to play out. But really, it's a solid list there, five deep for sure. Who could win this award this year? I'm excited to see who gets that here in a few weeks. A couple more scores I've seen roll in, John. We've got Timberland beating Cross 18-0. Wagner Sally beating Denmark Olar 38-6. And I had one more. I think you said that one already. West Florence over Darlington 49-7 on Thursday. And then Kingstree over Hemingway 20-6. So some good football tonight across the state, obviously. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see we've got Rashodi and Chris think the Tyrone Ingram Dawkins wins Mr. Football. Would not surprise me one bit if we saw that happen. That could certainly happen here. John, I'm going to run through the Upstate scores one more time. Then we're going to get our teams of the week if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
Awesome. If you guys just tuning in, we're going to go through the Upstate again here on Moving the Chains SC on Facebook, Moving Chains on Instagram and Twitter. The big game of the night here in the Upstate, Dorman and Byrnes. Dorman defeats Byrnes 37-18. Byrnes showed a lot of rust. First play of the game, John, Mac Long, 77 yards to the house for the Rebels. Rebels come out on fire. After that, I think Dorman blocked 2 or 3 punts. Byrnes had some turnovers. Just couldn't get it going. Zay Foster and Chance Black really took over for Dorman, and the Cavaliers got that win there. Wren all over Palmetto. This is the offense John we talked about, scoring 45 points a game. Palmetto was. Wren holds them to 13 in a 64-13 win tonight over those guys.
Wow, that is very, very impressive.
Yep. A game I did watch some of, and that was T.L. Hanno defeating Westside 26-7. Westside had an offense averaging 40-plus all week as well, all season as well. T.L. Hanno holds them to 7 with that rushing offense kind of playing a little bit keep away and get some key turnovers. The Yellow Jackets come up with a big win there. Abbeville all over Crescent 48-0. Walhalla, big win for these guys over TR 27-14. Christchurch 28, Landrum 10. Woodmont 20, Easley 14. Eastside finally showed up, John, 69-21 over Blue Ridge. What happened to that Blue Ridge program? I thought they were poised for a couple of good years here. They got a good quarterback. The Loftus kid had some offers a few years back. I don't know what happened to those guys, but they have had a down season for sure. This was a game, John, that was trending in the wrong direction for a while tonight. And this is Spartanburg-Riverside. Riverside had a lead late in the third quarter on Spartanburg. Spartanburg comes back to win 38-27. Powdersville continues to roll 35-6 over JL Mann. Ridgeview and Malden played a close ball game tonight. Ridgeview winning 17-7. Southside Christian 56, Ware Shoals 14. Union County behind Bryson Hunter gets a 28-21 victory over Clinton. Daniel shuts out Berea 67-0. Gilbert and Lawrence, I think this was a game that was kind of scheduled late due to some COVID cancellations. Gilbert defeats Lawrence 49-21.
Good win for Gilbert.
Yes, for sure, for the Raiders, I believe it is. Right, John? The Raiders, is that what they are, or the Indians?
Lawrence is the Raiders. Gilbert is the Indians.
That's right. Indians over Raiders.
They got that Gwinnett Braves logo going on.
That's right.
There in Gilbert.
That's right. Chesney defeats 96-63-35. And then in double overtime, Pendleton 36, Pickens 29. Our other two games of the week, Gray Collegiate over Oceanside Collegiate, 40-34 in overtime. Can't wait to see my boy Casey Adams' stats. Always toast the rock for 200-plus, it seems like, every week. And then Dutch Fork defeating South Pointe 35-7 tonight. John, are you ready with your team of the week? I'm going to read a couple comments here while you think about it. I see you've got a comment from Chris saying Gaffney.
I'm ready. I've got 2 of them queued up here.
Okay, right quick. Gaffney is back on the field next week against Blackwood. Yeah, I saw that, Chris. I know that Blackwood had talked to, I think, Byrnes and Gaffney about playing a game next week, and it comes down to, I guess, Gaffney won that, however they decided. So Gaffney and Blackwood will get after it next weekend. John, who's your team of the week tonight?
My team of the week, I'm going Gray Collegiate. I talked this week, and I talked about how good Gray was, but I said Oceanside is too good. Oceanside's good. They're playing at the Citadel. It's the big stadium. They're going to get scared. They're not going to be able to beat the big-time Oceanside group. And they did it. Mm-hmm. They did it. Close game. Hats off to Gray. That is a very, very, very impressive win. I do recall saying, if Gray wins that game, they win tonight, that's putting the rest, I believe it's 2A, right? That's putting the rest of class 2A on big-time notice.
Yeah, because Oceanside's 3A, so they went up a class tonight for that victory. So, big win tonight for the War Eagles for sure. John, I want to give a couple quick more scores I saw roll in because you're going to love these here, John. You ready for this one?
I see one that's in overtime, but I don't see a final yet. Maybe you see what I see.
I've got a double overtime final for you. Lugoff Elgin 35, Richland Northeast 34.
Let's go!
Besides that, Georgetown has knocked off Carver's Bay 13-6. Nice win for those guys tonight. And I'm going to go to my team of the week now. I think I've got to go to Bamberg-Earhart, John. Anytime you can shut out Barnwell and beat them 26-0, especially stepping up a class, a big rivalry between those two there, the Red Raiders and the Warhorses. The Warhorses. I'm going to go with Bamberg-Earhart as my team of the week in a very nice shutout victory tonight against the Barnwell Warhorses. Who went too far to get their butt kicked, John? So I want to know now. Could you tell me who did that?
You know, I also had a couple lined up for this, and I hate to do this because I got nothing against the Warhorses.
Oh, Lord.
But when you're wearing the Colt sign on the helmet and you're as good as you have been last few years, and you go play what I would call a rival at Bamberg-Earhart, and you don't score a point, oh, buddy, you can't do that. You could make it up, make something up. Hey, we're out of washer fluid on the bus and we can't make the trip. Don't even go. Don't even do it.
Yeah, big win for Bamberg tonight as they show up now as my team of the week, and also Barnwell is too far to get your butt kicked tonight. So we've got Brian tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see Prince of Torres is in here as well. Thank you guys for checking us out. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Georgia Agency. Guys, open enrollment's here. If you don't have insurance through your job, maybe you're a seasonal worker, maybe you're self-employed, maybe you're a contract worker, or if you need Medicare, if you're 65 plus or on disability, these guys can help you out, and it's at no cost to you. Give them a call today. Check them out at thegeorgiaagency.net, Georgia Agency on Facebook. Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew can take care of you. Over 30 years of experience with insurance here in South Carolina. Check them out, and they will certainly take care of you and all of your insurance needs here during the open enrollment period. John, this has been a fun football, like I mentioned. I say, do you want to run through Upstate and State scores one more time, or what do you want to do here before we get out of here?
I tell you what, I think we're solid. I mean, it's one of those scores, and we've been through them twice. It was a quick run.
Yep. I would like to mention this, getting kind of some housekeeping stuff here. I don't know if you guys saw this. The SCHSL had another Zoom call or whatever kind of call it was this week, and they mentioned that they don't know where they're playing the state championships yet. We talked about this today on ESPN Upstate with Rob Brown. And, John, I know obviously this season's been kind of turned on its head and whatnot, but I feel like this is the point of the year you got to be figuring this out. I know they mentioned that they've had some issues with some of the bigger stadiums because some of the colleges don't want to open up because of COVID. They don't want to take the chance of that. And also, if they do it at a bigger stadium and they do 4 or 5 games in a day, they've got to clear out the stadium and sanitize it before they let the next team in. So I'm thinking you're going to have to look at some maybe a little bit smaller than normal venues and just doing one for each classification, really.
I went to a years ago that River Bluff High School hosted. It was a Dylan Chapman game. Mm-hmm. Dylan won. It was Palo got knocked out early in that game. It was, looking back now, been a really interesting game. Palo been that whole game. Despite the fact, the game was held at River Bluff High School. Great venue, great stadium, and it worked out well for that game. But my worry is when we get to 4 and 5A. Mm-hmm. If you've got, it really doesn't matter who you have in 4 or 5A. Those schools are going to bring a lot of people, and it's going to attract a lot of attention. And, I grew up going to the Weekend of Champions at Williams-Brice, and, it was not rare to have 15,000, 20,000 people at the 4A and, what is now 5A. But back then, the 3A and the 4A games. So, for that matter, and the SCHL, they want to make, we all want to try to ignore it and deny it, but everybody they want to make money. Mm-hmm. And if you have this scheme at a 5,000, 10,000 seat stadium at 20%, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. You're going to sell those tickets, no doubt about it. But, I think the big key for the high school league is to, what's the biggest stadium we can have an agreement with and we can have this game at? And, honestly, I think, hey, if it's in Myrtle Beach, do it in Myrtle Beach. If it's in Charleston, do it in Charleston. If it's in Greenville, do it in Greenville. Wherever you got to do it, do it and, make it work. But, it's tough. It's tough. And I don't know what they're hearing from colleges and maybe other high schools, but, it's a tough situation to be in, but I hope they're able to lock down some bigger stadiums so everybody can come that wants to come to see these games play out and actually see them. And also what I was saying earlier on the Rob Brown show, let's reward these kids, They deserve to get to play in a big-time stadium. A lot of these kids, it'll be the last time they ever play football again. And I think one cool thing is a lot of these guys can say, hey, my senior year of high school, I played on the same field as the South Carolina Gamecocks. I got to play on the same field as the Clemson Tigers. That's cool. Maybe they can't do that this year, but at least play in a bigger stadium than just a high school stadium.
Yeah, Chris brings up a good point. The Clemson and Carolina cannot really do it right now because there's a chance they have to play a game that weekend, SEC or ACC, so they can't really commit to it. So, yeah, you got to wonder how this is going to shake out. I don't know if they're hearing anything positive on the college side, or if it's going to just go to some of these bigger high school stadiums like a Dorman, like a River Bluff, something like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see here in the next couple of weeks for sure what comes down from that. You could just host it at the home team stadium, and that's an option there. But then, some of these schools, especially the lower levels, you just can't have any fans. You got some of these schools, there's no away section at all, and then you get some of these, teams they want to come support for the state championship. You can't fit them on that side. So you're going to see how that goes. Charles Miller gets in with a comment saying Wren looked good tonight. Yeah, big win for Wren tonight. They're 64-13. Anytime you can score that many points, that's big. But then, John, we talked about how Palmetto's offense has been almost unstoppable all year long. Wren holding them to 13 points is a huge win tonight for those guys. Anything else you need to hit? I do want to hit one more note here. I've noticed. I know that people have been kind of hearing and wondering how serious the COVID protocols are going to be for the high school stuff. I know they came out a few weeks ago and said that if your team gets COVID in the playoffs, you got to forfeit, and that's the rule. And some people were saying, you know what, they probably won't really hold them to that. That's going to be kind of a not a big deal. Well, I got news for you guys.
I think they are.
I got news for you guys.
Look at how many cancellations we had tonight. I think they are.
Yeah, I got news for you. They've already held a volleyball team to that. Volleyball playoffs were going on, I think, last week. They already made a region champion forfeit their first round because of COVID. So I think the high school league is serious about that rule, and it's going to be very interesting to see if maybe people just kind of stop reporting here in the next few weeks. Say, you know what, we didn't get it. We just happened to send this kid home who was sick. I wonder what happened with him. So you wonder if you maybe just see teams just stop reporting it here in the next few weeks. But who really knows? But John, I'm going to give
and not to be insensitive or go one way than the other. Football is different than volleyball. Sorry, it is. But also, I think the high school league understands the position that they're in. Everybody, me, Kevin, me, and you, and everyone listening right now, we say, hey, let's play the games. Let's play the games. Let's do everything we can to play the games. Well, the high school league's got to think about people that don't care about the games, don't care about football.
Yep.
And they cannot put themselves in a situation where they get a bunch of high school students sick, or who knows how many people, right? They've got to be very precautious. They've got to go above and beyond. So I understand they're in a tough position. We want the games played, but the high school league, we don't have to bear that. And the word is losing me, but the responsibility.
A lot of responsibility and liability for sure to be taken there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Very different for them.
Yeah.
But, I think just going off of the first 6 weeks of football this week and how they structured the season, how they structured the playoffs, I'll say it. I could have been critical of the high school league in years past on certain things. I think they've done a good job this year. Considering everything, and this is new for everybody. I think they've done a great job, and hopefully that we go through the playoffs and they continue to have a good plan, and everyone ends up at the end happy and satisfied with how everything goes.
Yep. Well, a quick shout out to Antonio tuning in now with us as well. Thank you, Antonio, for getting in here. And I want to say, if you guys are worried about getting sick, call our friends at the Georgia Agency to get your insurance for sure right now. Get that taken care of, all your medical and health insurance here during open enrollment for sure. But I'm going to run through these update scores one more time and then get out of here for the night if that's cool with you.
Let's do it.
Awesome. One of our games of the week, Dorman 37, Byrnes 18. Dorman host Boiling Springs over round 1 of the playoff. Byrnes will travel to Gaffney in round 1. Our other game of the week, Wren 64, Palmetto 13. TL Hanna 26, Westside 7. Abbeville 48, Crescent 0. Walhalla 27, Travelers Rest 14. Christchurch 28, Landrum 10. Woodmont 20, Easley 14. Eastside 69. Blue Ridge 21, Spartanburg 38, Riverside 27, Powdersville 36 or 35, Jailman 6, Ridgeview 17, Malden 7, Southside Christian 56, Ware Shoals 14, Union County 28, Clinton 21, Daniels 67, Berea 0, Gilbert 49, Lawrence 21, Chesney 63, 96, 35, Pendleton 36-29 over Pickens in double overtime. And our other two games of the week, Dutch Fork 35, South Pointe 7, and Gray Collegiate 40, Oceanside Collegiate 34 in overtime. I want to get a couple more comments here. Chris says after next Tuesday, the COVID deal could be disappearing. Yeah, let's just see what happens there. And also, we got a college score for you here for you, John. Maryland just beat Minnesota 45-44 in overtime. If you care about that, go Terps, right?
Talia, oh boy.
Tagovailoa.
Apparently, he had a pretty good start to that game. I didn't realize he transferred from Baylor, but apparently he was doing some good things for the Terrapins tonight.
Yeah, big win for the Terps after an awful loss to Northwestern last week for sure. But want to appreciate you guys for tuning in. Moving the Chains SC on Facebook, Moving Chains on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us on all our platforms, please. We're also on YouTube. We also put out an audio-only version on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. It's just called Moving the Chains. Really easy to find. But we've got links here in our bio and whatnot. We did our preview show last night. We tried to predict some of these games. Some of them we were right about, some we were wrong about. We'll have that for you guys again next week. So tune in for our preview show. If you don't catch it live, it's always on here on Facebook. It's always on podcast, so you can listen to it there. And if you have some suggestions for games of the week for us to pick, and just let us know. Next week is going to be kind of funky, where most all region play is done with. Now it's just got teams kind of filling in games and whatnot. We kind of know what the playoffs look like, so we'll have a good feel of that going into week 1. So next week is going to have some kind of odd matchups, I feel like, for sure. Chris, thanks y'all for this. Is a great show. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you for getting in here and comment with us. That always helps out when you're chatting up and giving us some feedback and whatnot as well. But I want to thank you guys again. For John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas, Moving the Chains. We will see you guys next week for our preview show, and then again next Friday night for our Week 7 scores and recap show.